All right, welcome back, guys. Today we're looking at the best foods to boost testosterone. I'll be breaking this down through a biochemical lens, through a physiology and nutrition lens. I'm someone who believes a lot of meat's ideal, and I'm not a big fan of plants in the human diet. When we're looking at the holistic overview of mechanisms, anthropology, everything to me depicts we should be eating almost only meat. Raw dairy is great too, and I'm not a huge fan of plants. So I'll be explaining my understanding through my lens of how these foods will impact hormones, specifically testosterone. Without further ado, let's check out the foods this guy selects.
One thing I would suggest when going to the grocery store is making a list, because not only does it make sure you don't forget anything, you also don't end up purchasing a lot of things that maybe you'll regret later on. So having said that, we're going to stick with the foods that have been shown to possibly boost testosterone naturally. And the first one and most proven of that being eggs. Whole eggs contain cholesterol, a precursor for testosterone production, and other essential nutrients like vitamin D and protein.
Yeah, I mean, you want it ideally to get more of your vitamin D from the sun because the sun sulfurizes vitamin D. So when you take vitamin D in a supplement form, it's not being sulfurized. And sulfurization makes vitamin D go from a fat-soluble vitamin to a water-soluble vitamin. It helps the body transport vitamin D all throughout your body. It's really important. So really maximize the sun. The sun also gives you red light, which is great for your skin. It also it helps your light environment set your dopamine cycling, your melatonin cycling, helps your sleep. Again, the sun is mostly red light, which actually upregulates your collagen and elastin in your skin. It's great. Get the sun. The sun is where you want most of your vitamin D from. Don't rely on it dietarily, especially with how deficient our modern animal foods are of vitamin D. That being said, eggs are great. They have EPA and DHA. They have all the fat-soluble vitamins. They have, vitamin A typically. Great choice. The protein, here's one thing I'll say, one more thing on eggs. Make sure you cook the whites sufficiently, as the whites have avidin, ovomucoid, ovostatin, 4 anti-nutrients that inhibit your digestive enzymes, protein digestibility. So cook the whites, don't overcook the yolks, and eggs are great for testosterone. I agree.
A really big one, packed with protein and also healthy fats, is going to be salmon. It's rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which...
Yep, EPA and DHA, not ALA. The human body needs EPA and DHA, and those are only found in animal foods. Whenever you see omega-3s in plant foods, that's alpha linoleic acid, which must be converted. The body is very inefficient at converting ALA into EPA and DHA. Yep, he's right. Salmon has lots of heavy metals. I'd choose oysters over salmon.
Studies suggest might contribute to higher testosterone levels, which today we're all about, so that is perfect. I'm also going to grab some avocados.
Whoa, what happened? What was cabbage about?
Studies suggest is going to be salmon. It's rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which studies suggest might contribute to higher testosterone levels, which today we're all about, so that is perfect. I'm also going to grab some avocados, which contain a mineral...
He just put cabbage in the cart and didn't explain why. Cabbage is deficient in protein, deficient in macronutrients, deficient in the 26 nutrients you'll only find in animal foods. Has pesticides. It has isothiocyanates. It's hard for me to pronounce that. It has anti-nutrients. I'll list them on screen. These anti-nutrients can often impair your thyroid hormones like T3. And active T3 is really important for testosterone, for your metabolic rate, for staying lean. And of course, we want to stay lean. Fat is very estrogenic. It aromatases your testosterone into estradiol, which is the active form of estrogen. So why cabbage? I would completely avoid cabbage for testosterone. No explanation on his part, of course.
Called boron. Studies indicate that boron may be involved in testosterone metabolism.
You'll get the proper amount of boron from meat. Avocado high in oleic acid, still a bit too high in PUFA. And PUFA are in significant quantities anti-high testosterone. They suppress testosterone. They suppress thyroid function, metabolic rate. It'll lead to aldehydes like 4-HNE. They're high in deuterium, which slows the mitochondria. And we really want to have really fast and clean, efficient mitochondrial function, clean and fast thyroid function. Avocado, at least the PUFA in avocado will be shielded from oxidation due to the vitamin E and being transported by the other fats. But it's still a bit higher in linoleic acid than we'd want compared to something like beef. Avocado is fairly benign, but it's not really going to boost your testosterone.
Metabolism within the body and might help prevent testosterone breakdown. Picking up some pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, a mineral that plays a
bioavailability of that zinc is going to be reduced due to the phytic acid, which is a mineral magnet. Phytic acid has a strong negative charge, and things like iron, zinc, magnesium, they have a very strong positive charge. So phytic acid in pumpkin seeds will actually bind to these minerals. Also, I'll check, I'm pretty sure I'm right. Pumpkin seeds have cyanogenic glycosides, which are bioavailable cyanide when broken. So that's also an issue. I believe they also have oxalates, which can, of course, impair the thyroid function. There was a study, 85% of adults 30 or older had oxalate crystals in the thyroid. So pumpkin seeds are really suppressing our metabolism, our thyroid, our hormones. Of course, they're completely deficient in the nutrients you need as well. So the bioavailability of the zinc, so it's important. If you really want zinc, you should eat beef, very high in zinc and heme iron, without anti-nutrients and with everything else that you need.
Vital role in testosterone production. Studies have shown that zinc deficiency can be linked.
But again, reductionism, you need to look at how much zinc you're actually getting and what else is coming along with that zinc. And look at the holistic mechanisms. Let's say pumpkin seeds have zinc. They also have these things like oxalates, cyanogenic glycosides, phytic acid, things that are not conducive to proper metabolism, thyroid function, and hormones.
Lower testosterone levels, so another really excellent choice here. I'm gonna grab some milk. This one is a little higher in protein.
Again, vitamin D, just get that from the sun.
And it also
milk has casein proteins, not optimal.
Contains vitamin D. Now, vitamin D deficiency has been linked to lower testosterone levels, so including good sources is important. I grabbed one of my favorite greens, that being spinach. I use it for almost every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it contains excellent sources of magnesium, a mineral that
Again, bioavailability. Spinach, in 1 cup of raw spinach, you have 700 milligrams of oxalates. The body can only get rid of around 20 to 30 milligrams of oxalates per day. So if you have a cup of spinach, you get 700. That is weeks of oxalate dumping from 1 cup of spinach. Again, the oxalate crystals can build up in the thyroid, impair T3 production, impair the uptake of iodine into the thyroid. Spinach is such a suppressant to our metabolic rate, to our hormones. There's no reason a Homo sapien should be eating spinach. Completely deficient in micronutrients that you need. No retinol, D3, K2, B6, B12 in the active forms, methylated forms, EPA, DHA, conjugated linoleic acid, bioavailable iodine. I mean, it's a complete opportunity cost to even fill your stomach with spinach. It's a complete joke. Full of oxalates, really, really high. Even mainstream doctors will address this. You have someone come in with, thyroid issues or kidney stones. Even mainstream doctors will tell you to cut out spinach. And the thing with cooking is cooking will destroy some of the oxalates. It also will make the remaining ones more bioavailable by opening up the fiber. Horrible recommendation.
Once again, may play a role in testosterone production.
Yeah, may not is very possible too.
Regardless, it's still one of my favorite greens. We've got a lot of protein.
You don't like the taste of it either, don't lie.
We've got a lot of fats. Now we're gonna grab some black beans. They're a good source of plant-based protein and, again, zinc, which of course can be beneficial.
Once again, reductionism, they have lots of anti-nutrients that can then impair the uptake of that zinc. They still have lectins, which can really disrupt the gut. The amino acid composition of beans versus meat, it's inferior. It's missing fat-soluble vitamins, missing B12, missing creatine, taurine, carnitine, anserine, conjugated linoleic acid, bioavailable iodine, and selenium. There's lots of things you're only going to find in meat, not in beans. It's a poor man's protein. It's not going to boost testosterone whatsoever. You can get some amino acids from it, but super far from optimal.
For testosterone levels. I'm also going to be picking up some pomegranates. Pomegranates are rich in antioxidants, which may help reduce oxidative stress in the body, which can be damaging to testosterone producing cells. Picking up another one of my all-time favorite greens.
It'll be pretty neutral, pomegranate juice.
That being broccoli. Broccoli may help regulate estrogen levels, which can indirectly Broccoli may help regulate estrogen levels, which can indirectly create a more favorable environment for.
It may, meaning may not, on the table. You know what broccoli will deliver you is with goitrogens. And goitrogens, again, they directly impair the uptake of iodine into the thyroid. Have you ever heard of goitrogens? You really want to stay away from this cruciferous family. Oxalates as well. A lot of these plants are very anti-thyroid. Like when we want to have a fast metabolism, when we want to be in a fat burning state, when we want to be in a high testosterone state, these vegetables are not conducive to that. We don't want things that suppress our T3, our T4. We don't want things that raise our inverse T3. We don't want goiter. We don't want crystals in our thyroid. We don't want the opportunity cost of stuffing our face with plants that could have been meat, which are far more nutritious. Meat's far more nutritious in every single way. The flesh and fat of ruminant animals has every single nutrient you need, including vitamin C, yes. And it's what our genes have been exposed to for millions of years. It's what we're adapted to eating. Not broccoli. Broccoli was just made around 2,000 years ago. Made from cabbage. It's a fake man-made plant that was very recently created. Our genes have not been exposed to it for a very long time. And the goitrogen content is very concerning in my opinion. It doesn't have what you want or need. It has things you don't want. Like if you can follow a pretty typical logical structure, you would want to avoid broccoli.
Testosterone. And while I'm shopping, I'm kind of set some rules for myself. I'm gonna try to stay away from anything processed. My original goal
that honey's been heated, by the way.
Was anything wrapped in plastic as well, but you know, that's turning out to be pretty
olive oil, typically oxidized and fake on the shelf.
Hard, because a lot of stuff is wrapped in plastic, but
oxidized PUFA, very conducive to suppressing thyroid function, suppressing metabolic rates, causing you to actually be more sensitive to the sun when you have your cell membranes built up of oxidized polyunsaturated fats in the improper ratio that we're adapted to. Again, grass-fed beef is around 2% PUFA. Olive oil is around 15% typically. Some seed oils are 70%.
As I continue this experiment, I want to try and get better. So I've got some plastic wrap stuff today, but I'm really going to try to cut down on that.
You have far bigger issues than plastics here though.
The further this goes along. And another thing I'm trying to stay away from is anything that contains a label. And what I mean by that is I'm going to try to stick with single ingredient foods. Consuming these foods isn't going to guarantee that my natural testosterone levels will rise, but regardless, really, there's some of the best options out there, and they're packed with all the great blends of proteins, fats with omega-3.
Bit fish heavy so far. I want to see some beef.
Fatty acids and essential vitamins such as zinc, magnesium, and vitamin D. So if anything, by doing everything I've described, I'll be eating
no beef. That's interesting. Beef is, of course, beef, lamb, any ruminant animal with the flesh and fat of that animal is the most conducive to high testosterone. You know, saturated fats, pro-thyroid, pro-fast metabolism, but healthy fast metabolism. That's pro-efficient efficient ATP production.
Better over the next couple of months. And hey, if my natural testosterone does rise in the process, well,
you have many things here that are not conducive to naturally high testosterone. You have some things that are good. That milk is completely dead, though. It's completely destroyed, and you know, it looks low fat. It's destroyed. The eggs look really low quality. Food quality is actually quite understated. It's really, really important. Ah, man, you could have got some grass-fed beef, bro.
That's just going to be an amazing additional benefit. Oh yeah.
Begging the question, it's even possible to have too much. That whole myth is completely dead. It only applies to people with pre-existing kidney issues.
Yeah, right? I just finished the food
He doesn't even have that much. I eat way more than that.
And I am really excited to begin making these foods a consistent part of my diet. And I just wanted to take a real quick moment to thank the people that made this video possible. And that would be you. All is a book using these ingredients. So I'm really excited to see done. And I ended up spending just about $100, which I feel is not bad. I'm gonna try to make this food last for a week. These whole foods and the deal in my opinion. Now it's time to take it home and whip up some recipes with this stuff. The food is finished, but the journey is just starting.
Nothing here is conducive to high testosterone.
Because because I want to focus now on my time spent in the gym, my quality of sleep, managing my stress levels, and abstaining.
A lot of those foods are conducive to hurting thyroid function, slowing your metabolism, suppressing testosterone production via harming your nutrient absorption, your active T3. I'm not seeing enough actual bioavailable retinol here either. This is someone who actually may benefit from some beef liver because he's so deficient in the actual proper amount of muscle meat. He needs kind of like a multivitamin. Yeah, too much fish as well.
From alcohol, so look for that.
You know, fish aren't super high in saturated fat, more monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Largely the polyunsaturated is omega-3s, which is good, but definitely also want to eat that raw. You know, you don't want, when you cook fish, it's still prone to lipid peroxidation. Of course, you know, the HCAs are going to form, the advanced glycation end products are going to form from cooking as well. The lipids in fish are more sensitive to heat than beef is sensitive to heat. Beef is more stable to cook than fish. And when we look at, from an anthropological lens, we see that seafood was almost never cooked. It was like 10% of people pre-agriculture had seafood, and it seems it was never cooked. So when we're looking at this from a biological adaptation lens, we're seeing that it was good to consume raw seafood. And it seems that things like oysters and clams and the shellfish would often stack up on the beach, and those things would be eaten. So I would have wanted to see oysters here. Those are super high in zinc, if we want zinc. Super high in taurine, which is anti-glycative. Taurine is an anti-glycative. It has a myostatin inhibition effect. Taurine's really anabolic, really conducive to high testosterone. It's the body's master osmolyte. Regulates electrolytes really well, intra and extracellularly. So it's helping you regulate your sodium and your potassium in your cells. It's really helping you out with so many things. And again, it's anabolic. Taurine itself is anabolic. I do like 10 grams a day. Helps just electrolyte regulation, all these positive things. This guy, he was missing beef. You know, what we're genetically adapted to eating is mostly beef, and the isotopes do prove and confirm this unassailably. And, well, mammoth, but beef is the best thing we got. Actually, elephant is the best we have. We just don't eat it. Ideally, we'd actually be eating elephants. They're genetically the closest to mammoths if we wanted to be consistent. But all ruminant meat's pretty similar. Yeah. Takeaway here, guys, get higher quality eggs than that. And yes, eggs are good. Make sure you cook those whites. Avoid things like oxalates and goitrogens and phytic acid. Definitely avoid those. There are certain use cases, but I digress for now. Focus more on that grass-fed fatty beef. Things like raw dairy can be really good in development. And yeah, I think my critique hopefully has sufficed. My takes on these foods. If you need more help boosting your testosterone, fixing your health, improving your looks, I have a community where I can help you. Check it out down below if you want. I have all my nutrition guides, all my guides that actually get people results. I'll show the transformations. That speaks for itself. So yeah, if you'd like, also you can talk to me there as well. So if you need any help implementing the strategies that will actually boost your testosterone, help you look better and feel better, click the link down below and I'll help you do that. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.